All right, so welcome to the Land Bulletin podcast. We are brought to you a little bit differently this time round. We find ourselves in Torres del Paine. You can't really see them right now, unfortunately, because
shrouded in mystery.
Because Patagonia is an interesting and mysterious place that changes on a dime, just like Colorado. But behind us are, and we'll show you pictures kind of in the comments, but the Torres del Paine is directly behind us, and we are staying at the existing Explora Lodge within the national park.
Yeah, it's a lovely place. Their footprint here, right at the base of these mountains in the national park. They have a concession that they started, and they built this in '93, and it's pretty extraordinary.
Yeah, the service from the beginning to the end. Sadly, this is our last day, and it looks like this, but from beginning to end, Explora, they picked us up from the airport at Puerto Natales after our trip here, took us to the lodge, and they've wined and dined us and serviced us better than most experiences I've had.
Yeah, I mean, it's different because here you are in an area that is so remote. We've been to Africa, I'm Abercrombie and Kent, some of the higher destination kind of places that they have there, which were all very cool and amazing. But here, it's really about the place that when you have, you've got the Patagonia ice fields nearby, you have these fjords, you have, we drove by guanacos, flamingos, all the animals, there's another condor, casual. That is truly amazing. So it has to do a lot with the outdoors and the recreation, the hiking, those type of things. To experience those is really important.
No, it really makes it this unique experience, and we are so humbled and honored to be partnering with them with kind of their next venture. And the reason we're down here is their debut conservation reserve, just northeast of the park at the conservation reserve at Torres del Paine.
Right. Yeah, we had a chance we've been working on this for a while, and they've been talking with Nature Conservancy and others, with their goal of saving 1 million hectares over time. The family, the company, they really, they know how important preserving and protecting these wild places are, these parks. The goal here is to capitalize really on their name and what they do, and then provide a level of care, luxury, for people who want to come down here and enjoy it on a more personal basis.
And just kind of the structure of, we had the opportunity to work with some of the Explora people that work at Explora, Juan Pablo, who we've been working with very closely, and we'll have an incredible interview with him coming out shortly. But he took us to the reserve after staying at the existing lodge, and that's for people who are interested. That's kind of how it'll work. You'll stay at the lodge, and then they'll take you to the reserve.
Front and back, however it works. They're in a construction phase right now of building all the premises. The guest house, the quincho is up, the stables are up, and it was a lovely drive. You go through basically the entire park, so you're within the park for the most part, driving all the way, over to the reserve. And they chose the reserve primarily how it's situated more on the north end, different kind of view set of Torres del Paine in the national park, where actually you see some of the 3 major towers, individual towers that you cannot see from here.
No.
Well, not only can you not see them because of the clouds, but you can't see them because they're shrouded even by other mountains. So it's a really cool opportunity to also be and a part of and own a part of a estancia here in Chile that has this incredible view, but also has projects that they're working on, that it joins very close to the park boundary. They're doing some deforestation projects, but the drive was amazing over. So it's basically your driveway is national park roads to get to your reserve.
And while we drove, it was awesome because we didn't see any pumas, which next time we come, hopefully we see those.
Yeah, you can. I was amazed that people actually do see pumas, because I've lived in Colorado for years and, you know, rarely see a mountain lion.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, we did see, we saw a ton of flamencos.
well, yeah, flamingos. It's like this you're driving out in this, you know, unique landscape, and here's a pink birds.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, why are they here, right?
And we saw the oh gosh, now after seeing
Guanacos?
the guanacos, I've seen so many.
Yeah.
Since being here, they're just kind of like deer at this point. But guanacos, along the way, they're amazing. They're kind of look like wild llamas mixed with deer.
Camel,
camel,
maybe.
But they're all over the place, and it's really incredible. And the reserve itself, and one of the many things that they're trying to do, it's winter habitat for guanaco. So you will see in kind of the main grasslands of the reserve.
Yeah, the kind of the main valley. They'll hundreds of them.
Hundreds.
Kind of like, you know, we have Jackson Hole has like a elk preserve there just north of Jackson Hole. It's very similar in that situation. And they're working on a reforestation project. But, I mean, those are, because this is different, right? Down here, you don't have the same level of mammals, but the bird species are incredible. All different types of birds that you see along. So if you're a birder, that's really neat. And the trees, of course, different forests, and they're doing reforestation projects. Because on some of these lands over the years, you know, they were, these ranches were turned into livestock operations, and they thought back in the day it was a good idea to burn down the forests and create more grasslands. And so they're changing that through their stewardship, and also working on other grazing techniques, holistic grazing, but reforestation projects. You know, and they're designing trails on some of the property, which is cool. We were able to work and hike some of those trails yesterday. So that was pretty amazing.
And all of the planning, kind of all these different management techniques, the trail system, where the parcels are located within the reserve, were planned through the work with TNC. So the Nature Conservancy worked with Explora to figure out, okay, where can we put all these things where it's not only the amenities are easily accessible by everyone, but the flora and fauna are protected in such a way where you have those view sheds forever. You are able to enjoy the reserve at full capacity while also preserving a lot of the important aspects of it.
Yeah, they preserve, of course, the view sheds for those who are buying down here, but they also protect the view sheds from others. I mean, this is a estancia that's well hidden. You drive up off a road to get to this private bowl kind of highlands up against. You can't see this thing from anywhere else. It's raised up a little bit, and so a lot of thought went behind to location of the property, and then specifically the land planning aspect. And they engaged with the National Forest Service that's in Chile. You know, every level of group that needed to be engaged in the process were and consulted. So it created a design and use that's in harmony with the rest of the land out here, because it is, you know, Torres del Paine is kind of Yellowstone, Yosemite, glacier, all kind of in one park. It's a very important treasure for the Chileans.
And you know, when we even were driving out there, not only is it important, but it's kind of its own microclimate. They bought this ranch, and they kind of chose this area a while ago. They've owned this land for a bit now. Because of that, it's kind of protected from some of the larger winds. It has this microclimate over there, and it's kind of this oasis. Yeah,
they aggregated. This was not one piece. This was an aggregation of properties over a period of time. But like I said, you know, the driveway, you know, we had hikes along the way. So, you know, we stopped at various hikes within the national park along the way.
Right.
So that was pretty neat. We saw essentially like cave paintings or petrographs, like we've seen in Colorado at times, from indigenous populations. So you get that breadth of experience from a cultural standpoint, you know, and of course the views and all that, the flora and fauna. I mean, I'm just trying to remember all the names. I'm terrible.
I know, I forgot
with Spanish. Yeah.
It's okay.
So I'm terrible. But, you know, some of it is still reminiscent of what we might see in the Intermountain West. You think of it at least, but you know you're, you know, a long way away.
Yes. And beyond the flora and fauna, the people that we've met here, from the staff to we had an incredible day with the manager of the existing lodge, to the guides. It is a very different group of people that work here that will be also at the reserve, to meet you at the airport when they pick you up, to guide you along these journeys, to fill your kitchen before you get there. Like, they're the nicest people, and they really understand what service means and what that kind of means with exploratory travel.
Well, some of the people, they own, properties all the way to Easter Island. So, you are not unable to have that concession unless you do things right. So that's clearly a bottom line for them. And so they hire the training. We've met a lot of guides, and we asked them how they were trained. I mean, because they were so well versed, right? And that's part of it. They care. They treat them well. And so the whole goal was to have this reserve fairly close or within proximity of a lodge that they're operating on, so they can then help utilize some of the folks that are here and have that same background, that same understanding of what service means to Explora, and to provide that and have this, really nice rapport between the two. So people, when we were up at the Quincho yesterday for an asada barbecue, for those who don't know, and so those were people that were also from the lodge, and so they know about it, they understand the importance of it, they understand the relationship between it, and I think that's very helpful. And that's, if anything, we've looked at, I don't call this like a shared ranch that we have in the Intermountain West or United States. It's different, but what sets this apart is its connectivity to Explora.
Oh yeah, when you become a member of the reserves, when you buy a lot over there, you immediately become a part of their eco society. So in that eco society, it allows you to not only become a member and use the guest lodge and the Quincho and your own home at the reserve, gives you access to all the different hotels around South America that Explora owns, which is amazing.
And they're building beyond what we're seeing today. But yes, we talked about the Atacama Desert. Chile itself its length is the width of the United States. Right. So it's narrow. So you have deserts in the north, and you got the ice fields down south and the fjords, and all this goes into it. It's a huge country, and so you have a desert climate that you can go to. You can go out to Easter Island. They actually have some operations up in Peru and Machu Picchu, over the border in Argentina. We're very close to the border here where we sit today, and the list goes on. And so being able to utilize those other experiences, that you can actually travel from place to place to place too while you're down here.
Yeah, and they even have an airline that connects you. Explora has got it down. They've got an airline that takes you from place to place if you need it. The service, the level of everything. And then, beyond the Explora people we've met people from around the world. We've gone on hikes with people from different countries. We had quinchos with people from Bath. The asado. The asado. And, even last night we shared pisco sours with some local Chileans. So it's a different type of people down here than usual hotels. They're people who are here who want to get dirty and experience the outdoors, but they also understand, what luxury amenities are like, and they're looking for that at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, any of these trips, wherever we go, I remember in Kilimanjaro, we were staying with people and families. All of those experiences are great because it is an international attraction. It's one of the 7 wonders at one point of the world. Somebody referred to it. So it's an attraction. Not a lot of people can make it down here. The cost and everything else, and the limitation of number of places and lodges down here. So this is not like the millions of people you may see at our national park. It's a handful of special people that get the chance to come down here. So you have to, number one, it takes a bit to be a part of it, and two, and it's a commitment to get here. But yeah, we were with people from England and all parts of Europe, South America, United States. Hell, we ran into somebody from Denver.
We did. But it's neat because some of these people that were here might be investing in the reserve. So it's a community. You're not only kind of becoming a part of this hospitality group where you have access to all these things and this beautiful place, but you're also joining a community of incredible people. I think I got 4 WhatsApp numbers last night from people around the world who were just interesting.
Well, that's the whole goal with the preserve is really to find like-minded people to create a sense of community. With these lodges, sometimes you're here for 4 days and you kind of move on. Where there, you're more of a part of something larger, and that's what we're trying to find. That's the type of people you want. You want people who are still feel the need to explore, to adventure, who appreciate and want to be part of a conservation project that is international in focus and scope, to engage in that and be a part of probably one of the most important biospheres in the world. I mean, this is a huge biosphere from standpoint of, like I said, the ice fields and what's happening here, the glaciers that are right out our window here today. The water. This is an important place in the world to protect, and to be able to be engaged in that process is a wonderful opportunity for those who that appeals to. Certainly appeals to me.
I know. We were here for the average kind of stay at this lodge even is 4 days. So to be able to have a reserve where you can experience this place for longer and really dive into, this is just, your home base. It's so easy to get to so many other parts of Chile from here.
It is. And we were watching, some people actually doing what they call the W. It's a shape within the park and the zero routes. And, and here you could actually wake up, do it, be at that base within, maybe an hour or something, and then go off and do your deal and be servicing, and then come back after you're done to your home. I mean, it's incredible. These are, as I saw people waiting for buses to do all this, I think, wow, wouldn't you love to have a pad down the street that you could do this and have your friends down and experience these things together, let alone just, I'm getting to 63. I don't know if I'm climbing so many Alps anymore, other than I love to hike, but the hikes themselves that you can have, not only just out your door, but the hikes all around the park. It's just, it truly is incredible. And then, you could drive down to Puerto Natales and jump on a ship and cruise the fjords and then go back to your house for dinner.
It's like if, from Denver Steamboat, you're there, but you're dealing with traffic, you're dealing with people, and like maybe you can get to Rocky Mountain National Park, but again, you don't want to deal with the traffic here. You get to your house, you kind of choose the adventure you want to go on. You can be guided if you wanted to. You don't have to be guided if you don't. And you just have, it gives me the chills. I wish we could just stay forever.
Yeah, it's nice.
Come back. But it really is a cool experience down here.
And something to be shared. And so we'll be sharing these, going to various cities and hoping, share some of the experiences, what this is all about, how you can get engaged and to be involved. Like I said, it's once of a lifetime experience. We have shared ranches and things which are really cool, but the focus here on what you're doing and what you're engaging in is so important. And the goal and the mission and the vision of Explora is really compelling.
Yeah, and it's intergenerational. They want the families to be involved. They have internships for kids of families who are members of the reserve. Their whole thing is just to continue to give back to the environment while also creating a community, which is awesome. And it's international, which I love. So we've been here for a few days now. We're going to have a lot of content coming out, interviews with the manager at the reserve, interviews with Juan Pablo, our new best friend. We're going to have some kind of content from driving through the reserve and talking about what we've seen. So we'll definitely be sharing some of that. And like Ken said, we're going to be having some events in different cities. So, if you're interested in what this means, because, it's a big pie to kind of dissect and understand, come to those or give us a call. But they're actually going to be opening their doors to some select prospects. So if you're interested, there's a way to come down here and see it and really get an idea and have the same experience we had with the service and the food and the people. While
You're a
also
foodie.
I'm a foodie, so I keep talking about it.
It's just a sense of adventure. And I've always said that love of life and that sense of adventure is what keeps you young. And this is, if anything, that's, and to pass that on to your kids. So I think that's what this offers, and you can lock and leave and come back and know it's here and know it's taken care of. Whereas some places, if you buy a big estancia out in the middle of nowhere out here, you just don't know you're going to hire a manager and all these things. But here, everything's, the fencing, the roads, it's plug and play.
It is. And they even, there's some things about if you're gone for a period of time, letting friends stay, Explora will manage it for you. There's some other little specifics, but it really is, to your point, lock and leave. And you don't really get that in any ranches we've ever sold down in Chile and Argentina. So this is definitely a unique and kind of easier experience and way to own land in one of the most beautiful places on the planet. So
yeah, it is.
And I wish we could stay longer, but
off to Santiago.
Off to Santiago. Well, thanks, Ken, for coming back on the Land Bulletin. You're kind of seeing, you can't really see it right now, but like I said, we'll send a lot of photos. There's a lot coming your way. Really, I feel very honored to have been here with you and to have met these people. So
yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I mean, this is an incredible place, and what they're doing is. Yeah, it strikes a nerve. I mean, I've been coming down, to Patagonia since 2003 or 04, I believe. So this has been, pretty exciting for me to get this far down south too. I for one reason or another, never made it to Torres del Paine, but it's everything I thought and more.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much. Can't wait to get on this flight. And if you have more questions or want to learn more about Explora and the conservation reserve down here, please give us a call at 303-623-4545, or you can email us at Haley or Ken at mirranchgroup.com.
We need an international number now.
I think we do. No. Can you give a little Spanish for the outro if you can?
Oh, adios.
See you next time.